Live from the famous Whalebone Book Room, please show your love for Philip Galinsky presents 31 Triggers Live.
Listen to this crowd! Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thanks for coming out. My name's Philip Galinsky. I am an actor and a voiceover artist, and now an accomplished author. 31 Triggers, and it's a book also based on 31 flavors like Baskin Robbins. And so it also has a section where you can, write stuff, facilitate. We also had some moments tonight of people talking about various triggers. What I'll do here is sort of try to go through the book, but also be myself in front of you all, and then a little Q&A, or as I like to call it, a little T&A. Triggers and answers, people.
Oh, I was on the other side.
So I'm the youngest of 5 boys. There are no sisters in my family. There is a mom, but she was on the other side of the house with her own bathroom and her own planet. So she counts, but not really. Although she's 92, and she's been with my dad forever, old school. And I call her every week. She's in Connecticut, that's where they live. And just to check in on her. And so one of the things that in the book that triggers her and triggers me, but differently, right, is the word physical exam. So she said, oh yeah, I'm going to the doctor and I'm gonna get an exam. I said, all right, I'll call you next week and just let me know how it's going. So I call her and she's like real quiet. And I'm like, is it cancer? Like, what's going on, Mom? And she's like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, it's not fine, you're not. What? Well, he asked me a question. I'm like, well, that's what doctors do. He asked me if I was sexually active. And I said, no, I just lay there. Do you think he's a pervert? And I'm like, no. He's not a pervert. He's not a pervert. So that was one of the inspirations to the book. It's also that you ever know. So one of the other things that bothers me, and it's in the book, is abbreviations. Like when everybody abbreviates everything. Now, back in the day, Facebook would remind your friends that it's your birthday, and you were like, how did they do that? Then you didn't realize, I put my birthday in my profile when I started, right? So I had when I turned 30, my gym coach, Mr. Klinger, hey, congratulations. I'm like, I was crying, like, oh my God, this guy. And then I'm like, fucking Facebook, right? So I turned 50, and my niece writes on all social media. Now it's even worse because there's more platforms. She writes HBD.
Yes.
And I'm like, you want to get a shot of the crowd here? Because I just triggered some people. I'm like, it's my birthday. You can't write 3 words. So I have a big family. I have 8 nieces and nephews. I have 4 older brothers. I have sister-in-laws. I have all this stuff. And I guess in my brain, there was this thing where maybe someone's told her that I was upset about HBD. And I got a letter in the mail. And I'm like, oh wow, maybe she's sending me a card to apologize, right? So I get it and I open it and I go, oh, cool. So it's that she's getting married, right? It's one of those save the date letters, right? So I get on social media and I go, okay.
My turn.
All right, so happy. My niece just gave me an STD. I sat there for a little bit. Save the date! This is the tits and ass guy. So that was where that trigger came from. So I'm going to say the trigger word. You're all going to get upset. Participation award. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? But this happened to me a long time ago. So as you guys can tell, I'm a superior athlete. And I was really good at swimming in high school. I was good. Honestly, if there's no gravity involved, I'm really good. Like, so, right. I have 4 older brothers, and we're George, we're pretty good swimmers, right? Right? Right. That's why there's a book. So this kid in our high school got to go to Wake Forest for swimming. Like, we were all blown away. But he died in a swimming pool at Wake Forest, right? So they created this award, Stephen R. Schultz Award. And every year a swimmer gets it, right? So my brother Andrew got it. My brother George got it. So it was my turn to get it, right? Or me thinking. But I hated practice. I played football too because I'm a superior athlete. But that's besides the point. What I'm saying is swimming practice is what? Swim. But where's the playbook? What's the strategy? Swim. Right? And they make you shave your legs and arms, wear pantyhose. Well, at least I did with heels. You're supposed to make it go faster. That's what the coach said in the locker room with the shaving cream. But anyway, so it's the awards night, and they're all like, you're going to get it. I'm so excited for you. And my brother Andrew, he gives out the award every year, and he's talking great things about me. And I get up to get the award, and I'm walking, and the people in the crowd know I'm not getting it. And they're like, but I'm just like, and I get up there and I grab the award, and he goes, and it goes to Andrew Skarzinski. And so now I become a presenter. And so I present it to Andrew, and he's very nice about it. He was like, thanks, Phil. You know, it's both of our awards. I'm like, fuck you, you get a scholarship. So we spin this forward. Before we spin this forward, I talked to my brother Andrew after. I go backstage, I'm like, what the hell was that? You talked all these great things about me. He said, yeah, I felt bad that you weren't going to get it. So I just kept trying. I'm like, oh. So we fast forward 30 years later when Facebook and the internet comes around, right? And I write on one of the groups that I'm in. It's a bunch of high school guys that I'm with. And I wrote, it's like trivia. I'm like, who is the idiot who grabbed the wrong award for swimming in 1988, right? So I have to read this directly from the book. So this guy says, he replies back and he goes, I wrote, the grade is 12th grade, the year is 1988. Who is the jack who thought he won the Stephen R. Schultz Award for swimming at Weathersfield High School and went on stage to grab it? Fill in the blank, right? And then bonus question, who actually won? You guys know who didn't get it and know who won, right? So it goes up there. And this is a reply from someone who saw the posting. Is it necessary to shame someone for their actions 34 years ago? Not cool, in my opinion. I wrote, Jeff, I'm sharing myself, which is the answer to the first part of the question, and praising the actual winner. Unbelievable. All right. Because there's some things when I'm putting the triggers together that people say it's too soon to do anything about it, which is the Titanic, the guys that went down to try to find the Titanic. Oh, it's too soon. I'm like, I have a great joke. And I'm like, part of it is the great joke, and then part of it is what happened with them was they're millionaires, billionaires, right? And the reason the thing did what it did is because it was designed that someone outside the latch had to open it to let you out, right? And they're like, that's the design flaw. And I'm like, are you kidding me? If I'm a millionaire, I'm not opening my fucking door, right? I don't care if I'm in a submarine or not, right? Someone's opening it for me, right? So I go, oh, that's right. It reminds me of this great joke. So there's this Jewish guy and this Chinese guy, okay? Just follow me. Stay with me. There's a Jewish guy and a Chinese guy, and they're at opposite ends of the bar. And all night long, the Jewish guy's giving the Chinese guy dirty looks, right? So finally, the Jewish guy finishes his drink, and he walks up to the Chinese guy, and he punches him right in the face. And the Chinese guy goes, the hell was that for? He goes, that was for the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Chinese guy goes, you idiot, that was the Japanese. Jewish guy goes, Chinese, Japanese, Taiwanese, it's all the same to me, right? So now the Chinese guy is like, okay, it's on. All right, now he's triggered, right? So he walks up to the Jewish guy, punches him in the face, and the Jewish guy goes, what the hell was that for? And he goes, that was for the sinking of the Titanic. Jewish guy goes, sinking of the Titanic? That was an iceberg. Chinese guy goes, Bloomberg, Goldberg, iceberg. It's all the Thank you very much. Very well done. Did not offend anybody. Who had an issue with air mattresses? Because I could talk about.
It was definitely me.
So talk to me about what triggers you about air mattresses.
Bro, it doesn't matter how many you buy them. You always sink in. It's sad. You can buy it straight from the Walmart. As soon as you get home, you put it in, it still sinks.
All right, I got one better for you because this is triggering and it's also called Galinsky logic. Okay, and it's going to tie into another one. Okay, so I understand your thing about it being lumpy or it's awful. So I was leaving my apartment as my neighbor was coming into his apartment. You know that weird like transition, right? So he's like, "Oh, Philip, I have this air mattress. I was going to use it because my grandmother was coming, but she's not feeling well, and I don't think it. I know you have people over, so I thought you'd like it." So I'm like, "Okay." So he gives it to me, and it's wrapped. It's never been opened. It's got the pump, so it sucks the air out and pumps it up, like top of the line, right? Then I'm walking into my apartment, and I'm like, "Oh, this is cool. I could use this mother Fletcher. I know you have people over." You man. And I opened up my kitchen window and I just threw it out. Don't tell me I have people over. Don't be sitting there with the glass on the wall listening to what I'm doing. Do I need help? Is that equivalent to your air mattress? A little bit? So I got a longer one for you. And it involves my good friend Nico, who's here shooting, who it's called catch and release, and it's about fishing, okay? But it's okay, it's all right. So I'm not the best, as I told you before, I'm a superior athlete. I wasn't really good at fishing. And I don't really have much sympathy for fish after 600 years. We're using a hook and a worm and they haven't figured it out. Like, come on, seriously, right? So I meet Nico, and he tells me, "Oh, you should come fishing with us." And I'm like, "Oh, cool," because I haven't done it like professionally, and he's a pro. So he calls me, goes, "Oh, yesterday we caught 40 fish." Wow. And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." And I go, "Do you do catch and release?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "You jackwagon! You caught the same fish 40 times." Although they were biting. What are you talking about? You took them off the hook, you threw them in the water, whoa, look, another one. So I go fishing with my nephew. This is before that because we had a good time. It was fun, right? Yeah. So I go with my nephew and we stink. We're not doing anything. No one's catching anything. My nephew's really mad. We catch a fish. And he's so excited to take, we're taking pictures, social media, we're on the dock, right? We're holding the boat, the fish is here. And all of a sudden the fish flies off the hook, hits the dock, and he's about to, my nephew dives down to grab it, right? And it's in the book. There's a picture of it in the book. So the nephew dives down to grab it, comes back up, the hook is in his nose. Oh. The fish is in his hand. I swear to God, it's in the book, okay? So he comes up and we're like, yes! And we're like taking pictures and there's women, mothers, like, you have to get him to the hospital. We're like, get out of the way! You're blocking the light! And of course, there's an old man on the dock. There's always an old man on the dock, right? I've seen, one in the ear, one in the back, never in the nose. My nephew's like, it's so cool, isn't it, Uncle Phil? It's great, right? And it's stinging. And what's going to happen? I said, well, your dad's going to take you to the emergency room and they'll probably put a needle in your nose and numb it and then yank out the hook. Now he starts crying. He's bawling. They're going to put a needle in my nose. I'm yelling at him, you already have a hook in it! gets in the car, 10 minutes later comes back. I talked to my brother Jimmy. I'm like, what? You guys are supposed to go to the emergency room. He goes, nah, he yanked it out. He didn't want to go. Oh. He was in the back seat just like, yeah.
So,
milk.
When I was in school, they give you milk with like pizza or milk with a burger, and you know you would never do that at home.
Right. When you get milk the old fat. My milk thing is, my milk trigger is, we're the only animal that drinks another animal's milk. I mean, you know, like, you don't put a baby under a cow, right? Like, when mom's done, it's a wrap. The milk thing to me is like, and I was on this, my brother George knows this, long time ago. I was on the whole, I hate birthday cakes. Birthday cakes are, before COVID, god-awful. How the hell do you expect me to eat something after you went, let's go to Penn Station right now. Go to the Dirty Water hot dog guy, and then get the hot dog and go to a homeless guy and go, wait, just blow on it. Come on. It's my birthday.
It wasn't until COVID that I started thinking about it. And years before, I never thought about it. Just like, oh, let me get a piece. That's lemon? Oh, yeah.
Who's a mom here? Who's a mom here that's gone to a birthday party with their kid, and a week later, he's sick? Yeah! Because someone just put their face in the entire cake!
So what do you suggest now?
Cupcake with a... No. Cupcake with a candle. That's yours. Blow on it. Go ahead. Knock yourself out.
What's your iced coffee hack?
Oh, very good. The iced coffee hack is a good one. So, like, everybody's like, oh, you're going to do this trigger thing, and it's all just negative or you ranting. First of all, it's not. I'm positive about some of them. And the iced coffee is a hack because I like the hacks that work out for me. For this one, and I was so smart. How much is an iced coffee in the summer in New York? $7? It's ridiculous, right? So here's what you got to do. And thank God we have a room that has performers of some caliber that can pull this off. You have to pull this off or it's not going to work. So you go to the deli or wherever you get the coffee. You know the fountain? They have the fountain there with, you know, the hot station and the cold station. Number one, grab the hot cup. Even though it's the summer, you know, it's the pleasure to serve you that one, right? Go to the iced coffee, pour it in there. Pour the iced coffee in the hot cup. Pretend it's hot, and get there. Make sure he doesn't touch it. Pay him. You've got a nice hot coffee that's $1.50. That's really an iced coffee. That's not $7.99. Thank you. Yes. Huh?
I got one I want to just point at. I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say it good, brother. Come on.
You want me to see what you're pointing?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, okay, fine. Georgie, God, you would think Donald would have picked this one. He wants to know about squirters.
Oh!
Now, listen. This is a G-rated Disney program that's going to get on Netflix. Okay? My friend Frankie, his dad passed away a few years ago. And his dad was a volunteer firefighter. And he created the volunteer firefighters in the late 80s, early 90s softball team, right? And he found the shirt. And the shirt is a guy holding the hose, and it says Squirters. And that was the name of the team. And he's like, do you think I should wear it? And I'm like, no. No, I mean, back then it was fine. But now it'd be taken a totally different way. Does that answer your question, Pervy?
What about me too?
Me too. By the way, I'll name drop. I was on Dora the Explorer. I was a bear that stole birthday cakes, and then Dora teaches me how to bake birthday cakes so I don't steal. I was the lead kidnapper on Grand Theft Auto 5. I got to kidnap Jonah Hill. So my voiceover career is skyrocketing. Right? So I booked this JCPenney voice ad where you get paid the same amount as an actor. Just your voice. One word. I say, "Scoozy." Right? So I go to the studio to record it. They show me what it's about. It's women on a sofa unwrapping wedding gifts, and it's cookware from a famous chef. And the agent's like, yo, it's gonna be big money because it's gonna play in the spring, it's gonna play in the fall, you're gonna make so much money. I said, one word, it was scoozy. It's like, that's what it is. The girls are opening up the things and they're like, it's almost like you have the chef in your kitchen. And then you hear, scoozy, right? So I go to the studio and record it. The producers are like, did you study your line? Oh my God. So yeah, I was in Little Italy all day, making sure I got it right. Right? So we're anticipating the release of this commercial. And I'm like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, canceled. No commercial. And I go, what happened? I called my agent, what happened? He goes, oh, you don't know what chef you were sounding like. And I was like, what? Like what? He goes, it was supposed to be Mario Batali, who's this really Me Too bad guy. So even I, Me Too, got affected. I'm a victim. Ladies, Me Too.
Auntie?
Oh, okay. Auntie's good. Auntie's good. So, my friend, she was really into Family Feud, and she was like, I wish you could come with our family because we're going to compete for it in Jersey at the casino. They like do an open call and everything like that. And I said, well, you should say, well, you're not related to us anyway. You can't, so we're going to have to use my aunt. And I'm like, so what? I mean, it's Family Feud. It's fun. So she calls me. She's like, oh, man, it's set up just like the game show. We got to level 2, and it was awesome. We were doing so well until, and I'm like, whoa, what happened? She goes, well, we had the question, what do you take when you leave a restaurant? And my dad said, a receipt. My mom said, a toothpick. And my lady said, a mint. And then they went down to the auntie, and the auntie said, the silverware. That's right. One more?
I want to know depression.
Depression. Oh, okay, good. This will circle back. I'll tie it all back to mother. Back to the mothership. Okay, so like I said, I call my mom and I talk. And so one time she was like, I'm depressed. And I said, well, what do you do before you go to bed? Because I'm in therapy and they tell you there's things that influence. She's like, I watch the news. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, watch something or do something that's gonna make you feel good, right? So she's like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So I call her the next week and she's like, how you doing? She's like, great, Phil. Really? So what do you do before you go to bed? Oh, I have this whole plan, and I'm thinking like Jameson, that's whatever, knocker. She's like, I get in my bed, I get the paper, and I read the obituaries. And I'm alive and my friends are dead, and I'm so happy. And before you give me a rousing round of applause, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thanks for coming. We're going to do this more often. And please, if you're going to be sexually active, don't just lay there. That's how it's done! Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm triggered.
No.